Well, we're here in North Texas on November 3rd. Will, what's going on? Don't pay George Bush? Protest?
Don't pay George Bush.
What?
Yep.
Why is that?
Well, see, the thing is that George Bush is coming out to UNT to speak about his new book, and the university is giving him $100,000 for a one-time deal. Right now, UNT is suffering one of the biggest budget cuts it has ever seen. We have, professors that can't even get their own dry erase markers.
Yeah, there's none in my class. There's no dry erase pens, so it's provide your own.
Exactly. And we have a hiring freeze right now. We have no pay raises for the fiscal year 2010 to 2011. We have all of these things going on. And we somehow have, $100,000 to scrounge up for Bush being here.
Okay.
We don't agree with that.
All right. Now I can see, based on your signs, socialistworker.org, there's more to this than just saving money at the university. So politically, how does this?
Well, politically, this is the Denton branch of the International Socialist Organization. We are a revolutionary left organization that works to overthrow the capitalist system in which we live. We see, all of the current events around us, and we just feel that the system is broken, and it's probably not going to get any better. So our view is that, we have to overthrow the system in order to bring about the change that we want. Things like, universal health care, public education for all, good public education for all, as well as, equal wages, between men and women, whites and minorities, this kind of thing. We feel that the capitalist system has really failed. George Bush is just one of the things, that we're protesting, just because we feel that it is, an affront to all students on campus, that the university is going to take our fund, the
student fees basically are paid
pretty much,
for it,
yeah. And give them to some crackpot who is in turn going to try and hawk his book.
I want to ask you about your philosophy, but first about protests. I read in the newspaper the university's concerned about the protests.
Right.
It's scheduled. Are you all planning on disrupting the actual speech? Or
no.
I mean,
we
officially, I would say that's probably a bad thing to say.
Officially, I can't give anything out at this time, but we're going to be outside at least. So
you guys will be present.
We'll be outside handing out literature and things like that, but we're not planning anything illegal or anything violent or anything like that at
Right,
all.
because it's been scheduled, it's a coordinated thing, and there are spaces for that kind of free speech to take place.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, all right, one more question. So who are the models? I mean, I'm concerned about the excesses of capitalism too, but I'm not convinced there are viable alternatives. What is the viable alternative to capitalism, and are there countries that you point to, practically speaking, and how are you going to bring this this social change about politically in the United States with the two-party system we have now?
Interesting question. Well, the thing is that, whenever a lot of people hear about socialism, they automatically turn towards Soviet Russia, China, Cuba, North Korea, Vietnam, places like that. We advocate for a workers' state, pretty much. And like those examples that I mentioned, they are not good examples.
Do you think there is a good example to point to, or are you trying to do something new that basically hasn't been done yet?
There is a good example, but the unfortunate thing is that it was only allowed to last for 2 years, and that example is the October Revolution in Russia that allowed for the rise of the Soviet
Stalinist bureaucracy.
Yeah, Stalinist bureaucracy.
So we're talking 1917 to
1917
1919.
to 1919. Yep. The reason why it wasn't allowed to work is because you had 14 capitalist nations as well as the White Army going up against the Red Army in Russia. The unfortunate thing is that the Russian Civil War, as it's known, totally decimated the working class, wherein you had, there was no power. There was an entire power vacuum, and unfortunately Stalin, being the opportunist that he was, as well as the other bureaucrats, came in and took power away from the working class.
And that's always the problem, I think, is with any kind of government, are people that want to seek power and, are going to not give it up.
Right.
Which is why it's got to stay under control of the working class.
Exactly. But, before the Russian Civil War, I mean, we saw things like universal health care. People were getting their needs met. Let's see what else. The strange thing for us as university students is that students actually got the ability to elect their professors within.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And they could recall them at a moment's notice.
Okay.
But there's a lot of bad history on the Russian Revolution. However, there are 3 books that I can turn to, as part of a study. One of them is John Reed's 10 Days That Shook the World, which is an amazing study. John Reed was an American journalist who went over to Russia during that time and pretty much just laid out what he saw. Another one is Leon Trotsky's History of the Russian Revolution, which is a 1,200-page monster, but it's a page-turner. And then the other one, and I cannot remember the name of it right now, but it was written by Victor Serge, which goes in and outlines what the Russian Revolution was about. And all 3 of these books were written by people who were on the ground at the time of the Russian Revolution. The revolution itself brought about so many changes. I mean, it did away with the pogroms, the systematic killing of the Jews. It did away with racism. It did away with homophobia. The Russian Revolution allowed for free operations for transsexuals at that time, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
During that time,
Right.
because of the stigma that we had gotten with Victorian England and the entire homosexuality thing.
Right. Well, let me just go ahead and kind of draw this to a close. If people want to get involved and know about your organization here at UNT, is there a website they can go to, or how do they find out more?
We have the website is internationalsocialists.org.
Okay.
We do also have a news website, socialistworker.org. And in terms of trying to get in touch with us here at UNT.
Obviously, you guys are here outside the union, so.
Yes, we're here every week. We also have our mailing list. We have actually, let me check this and see that it's right. Our contact information, that's information for one of our allies, the Campaign to End the Death Penalty. But we have our email address is dentonlabor@gmail.com. And our meeting times are at 7 o'clock Wednesdays at Wooten Hall, room 321 on the UNT campus.
Okay, great. And what's your name?
Will Clark.
All right. Well, Will, thanks a lot for taking a few minutes to talk to me.
All right.